Hello everybody, it's Jules. Time for another stitch with me. And today we're doing, if you couldn't tell, we're doing the baseball project from Cross Stitch Collectibles because I need to make more progress on it. As we stand, I have done about this much only. So we're kind of in this section where the fence is. So that's the good news. The good news is that there's a lot of stitching to be done with a lot less colors than before, which is awesome, because it goes that much faster that way. So I'm not quite ready to start stitching at the moment. So I've got this. So I gotta thread some needles here and whatnot. But I thought I would go ahead and start talking. Let's see here. What do we have? I almost went and did the dachshund this week. I really did. And the reason why I ended up not doing the dachshund was because I didn't want to have to wear my glasses while doing one of these Stitch With Me's again. Just because it's a little harder for me. So I thought, you know, I'm just going to make it a little easier on myself for this today and do this piece, which I think I've only ever done this once on a Stitch With Me. So just trying to make as much progress as I can. I'm going to do some 648. And, should be able to make some good progress on this one today. I have made some good progress on the dachshund. I did. And, I want to do a little bit more so you guys can see even more. But not on this particular thing. Not on this particular day. On this particular video. In this particular moment. Particularly. Okay. Okay, wait. Time out. Make sure I get the right little hole. Oh, my eyes are... I'm noticing more and more my eyes are giving me problems. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, I mean, I'm just saying that from the standpoint of I probably should have my glasses, but I don't. I just got to get used to wearing them. Just having that little bit of pressure on my nose is so, I don't want to say foreign, but just I'm not used to it yet. So that's kind of where we're at with that. All right, let me get my little dingy here. So before we get started, if I saw a quick question on the comments on one of the last videos, and it was asking me about gridding. I do have a couple of different examples in some other videos, but I can't think offhand of where they are. But you can see on this particular page, so to speak, that I have, you know, obviously I've gridded. And this is this was the pre-gridded fabric, but the grid lines just didn't show up very well for me. So I just went over it with a washable, basically, what do you call it, marker, washable marker that I got at Michael's, and it's in my little Amazon store of things that I use and things that I like, and so and literally I just count a 10 by 10 grid and mark it off, and so that's what these marks are. This, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. That might have just been a mistake, but it's pretty straightforward. And I always start for my full coverage pieces. I'm always starting in the upper left-hand corner of my, where I estimate my size to be. But I'm going to do a more detailed video, as we all know, eventually when I get my stuff for the project where I'm going to be doing everything with. Gosh, I am really articulate this morning. Where I'm going to be doing a project from the very beginning to the very end, and to show you guys how that kind of works. So I'll do that more, you know, later, maybe next month when I start that kind of project. But as of right now, there are a few other videos in which I discuss that. I apologize for not knowing exactly which ones those are. Maybe some of you guys might know where those are, but anyway, we're just going to start rocking and rolling here. It's about 8 o'clock Sunday morning. We just got back from the store, and we both woke up super early this morning. I think my husband got up at like 5 and I got up about 5:30, and just because it felt like it's time to get up. Yeah, I've been, I took a nap yesterday. I needed a nap after work and everything, and so that was, I took it like at 3:30. We went to lunch, had some pizza at this little pizza place, and by the time I got home, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. I want to go to bed, and so I was letting myself do that. I like to de-stress. I usually sleep when I work the mornings. It's so hectic that a lot of times taking a nap when I get home helps me to completely sort of divorce my mind from work at that point. So it helps me have like a true weekend off at that point. So, but I slept till about 5:30, which is not always recommended. But then I got up and I stitched until about 11 when I finally went to bed. And I worked on Apothecary Shop, and I worked on, what else did I work on? Something else. Oh, Boba Fett. I made some good progress with Boba Fett. I'm super happy about it, and you guys will really see. Actually, I need to put a picture up on the blog this morning. Haven't done a lot of blog posts this week, and I apologize for that. Football has definitely taken off my mind a little bit. I've been stitching, just haven't been posting, and but I need to get some. I'll probably put a lot of posts on today and get that going. But I'm pretty happy with the progress. The only thing that I'm really not that happy with myself about is the old world map 2. I've not had as much progress with that as I would like. So that's going to need to be an area of emphasis probably later today. And but we're moving. I can hear the dogs keep getting in trouble downstairs with my husband this morning. They're just being a little nutty. Okay, getting a lot of stitching done. Super excited. And I need to start getting together a fabric list for a stitching shop so that I could go over there. I'll go ahead and submit my order, and it's so much faster and easier that way, and better for them too, because then they can take care of and cut my fabric like when they have time to, and so that works out pretty well. So I'll be doing that sometime, probably later this month, I hope. But I want to get fabric for the Ronnie Rowe, the Congress piece. Even though I may not start that right away, I still just want to go ahead and get the fabric for that. Get the fabric for the new Scarlet Quince Tower of Babel, and get the fabric for the other sports projects that I have. So yeah, gonna need to get some stuff. I found the pattern for I found the fabric for the Erica Michaels Charity for All piece. So I just got to see what it calls for Bella Soy silk, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. I have some colors. And I may have already gotten that at one point. And if I have it, if that's what I have downstairs with my stitching stuff, because I was looking through it yesterday, and if that's what I have with my stitching stuff, then I'll use it. But if that's not the floss that if that floss is not intended for that project, and I don't have any other stuff, then I may just use regular DMC. I'm not horribly particular about what I use. I'm fine with DMC, to be honest with you. I stitch so much, I don't necessarily want to use real expensive materials if I can help it, because, I mean, this is usually quite an economical hobby to have, even when you do as many crazy things as I do. Because you look at costs per month, whatnot, on a project, and it's probably in the pennies, with as long as it takes me to do these things. Just checking what I have to do next. So, and I mean, and the question is, how many hours do I stitch a week? That's a very good question. Thanks for asking. So how many hours do I stitch a week? would say my usual routine is I probably stitch 2 to 3 hours on a Monday night. I usually don't stitch on Tuesday. I stitch almost every day but Tuesday night. And for whatever reason, I'm usually like, all right, Tuesday night is the night that I'll play video games, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll do something. It's usually video games where I won't actually stitch unless I'm really feeling it. And it just is kind of how it works out with me. I'm usually thinking about, I'm thinking about the video that I'm going to make. And so in the process of doing all that, I'm just, I'm like, I don't want to do any stitching on Tuesday. I have to take a break sometime, right? So 2 to 3 hours on Monday. Let's call it 2. Wednesday, after I do the video, I'll usually get in another couple of hours. Thursday is a big stitching day because I have the day off, and I'll usually say I'll put in about, let's say I even put in like 5 or 6, let's say 6 hours, because stretched out over the day, that's probably how much I get done. That's a lot of stitching, right, guys? So we're already at 10 hours Monday through Thursday. Sometimes I stitch on Friday and sometimes I don't. So let's just say it's an hour on average on Friday. So that's 11 hours. And then on the weekend, like yesterday, I probably got 3 or 4 hours stitching in. Today, I'll probably get another 6 to 8 hours stitching. And when I say 6 to 8 hours stitching, I'm watching football. I'm getting up and doing other things and sitting down. But so let's just say like I get 4 solid hours. No, that's not even enough. Let's say I get 5 solid hours. And then I do like maybe, let's say an average of 3 on Saturday. So 8. So it's about 20 hours a week, roughly, give or take. And certainly there are some weeks where it's more than others. And that sounds like a lot of stitching, but I mean, I don't have kids, I have dogs. And this is my main hobby that I do. And my husband and I pretty much don't do a lot of, we don't go out to movies very often, and we don't necessarily go hang out with a lot of people all the time. We might go out to dinner, some, but we're back home pretty quickly. So, it's a lot of stitching, which, thankfully bodes well for, because I have all these stitches to do. I have millions of stitches to do. So little time and millions of stitches to go. So yeah, sounds crazy. It is a little crazy, but it's just, I don't know. I've just been doing this for like over a decade, and I just love it. If I didn't stitch this much, if I was only able to get 4 or 5 hours a week, I could never, ever, I'd have to stick with one project, that's for sure. And I know a lot of you guys, that's kind of where you're at, and that's awesome. Even a little bit of time to stitch is fantastic. You guys, sorry, I'm like almost pushing this piece of paper off here. You do what you can. I know a lot of you guys are a lot more busy than I am in life. And that is totally awesome and fine. And sorry, I keep making noises. I gotta highlight. Someone asked me the other day if I could show them how I highlight. I mean, I just use I use different kinds of highlighters. I kind of like these retractable Sharpie highlighter things, because you can just, and that saves me a lot of mistakes with hitting things that I shouldn't. But I can't actually show you the highlighting because I'm not supposed to show you the actual pattern. It's a copyright thing. And so I'm just trying to be doing the right thing here. When I first started doing videos, I just didn't realize it, show the pattern. And then one of you kind folks, I think it was Michelle, pointed out to me that I probably shouldn't do that. And I was like, oops, whoops, sorry. And I stopped. So I'm going to sneeze. Woo, okay, now we're back. Our regularly scheduled programming here. But here, go all the way up here and do this. So, so I can't really show you, but there's no real trick to it. I mean, I just use a highlighter that will I want something that is dark enough that it stands out so that the stuff I haven't done stands out even more. So it's easier for me to see. I used to do yellow. And what I found is that sometimes yellow will fade a little bit and it becomes a little harder to tell what I've done and what I haven't done. So using a dark color helps me to, it really pops on the pattern what I have to do. So I got that up there. I'm just going to flutter over here. You know what? I'm just going to go all the way around up here. My plan was to do like a little bit here and then come down here, but I had a few up here, then I went up here, and then there's a stitch here, and then it goes across, so I'm just going to go across with what I have left. Alrighty. So I'm going to have some videos about the animals this week, especially the fish, because I had an issue with, well, I accidentally dumped the light into the water of the tank with the megalodon, the little catfish, the bigger tank that I have, where I took the really jerk fish out of and put them in another tank. But anyway, I dropped the light in the water and it flooded, and it just never really worked consistently after that. So I just decided to just replace it. And it took me a while to actually order one. And when I finally got it ordered and got it in, it came in yesterday. And my husband, knowing how procrastinating I am at times, went ahead and put it on there for me. I'm like, oh wow, you know, light, that's awesome. And when we turned the light on, I had 2 snails that I had put in there from that tank where the snails were born and just exploded. And the funny thing is that for whatever reason, the 2 weeks that there were no lights in that, those snails like quadrupled in size. They are huge. I don't know if it's because the light was off and algae grew and they were like feeding like crazy. I don't know, but they're massive. And the megalodon is still in there and obviously eating plenty because it's pooping up a storm. Because its poop is like, looks like little long stringy things. And so it's plenty of food for the snails to digest and get rid of. And so I think they've just really been enjoying it. So I went and moved a couple more snails into that tank. And they're just booking around and having a grand old time now. So I think that's awesome. And I'm just looking to see what I'm doing. What am I doing? That. Okay, right here. Cool. So anyway, so I was like, wow. The only thing I need to get back into that tank is I need to get a larger hiding spot for the megalodon because it wants to hide whenever the light's on and during the day and whatnot. And it's getting big enough now that it's not really hiding. Its tail is sticking out at the end, and it is, yeah, it's not really hiding very well. So it needs a larger hiding spot. So I need to find something that it can hide under. But that was like, whoa, when I turned the light back on for it. So I need to do a big clean here, hopefully today at some point. My Sundays really, when the football is on, my Sundays become very routine oriented. And that routine will be there for about 2 months. And then usually by the time that like November hits, I'm starting to run out of steam a little bit. Like the routine is getting old and I'm not as enthusiastic about it. But we usually get up, go to the store really early to get the stuff that we need for the week, grab something fun for lunch. Today my husband's going to do some sort of a shrimp boil, I think in the Instant Pot. He puts we got like some spicy sausage, corn, shrimp, obviously, some potatoes. We got all that, and he's going to whip up a crab boil. Trying to thread this thing. It's like trying to thread a needle. There we go. Which is exactly what it is. Let me highlight. Let me highlight our situation here. So get that done. I don't want to always be doing the video on Sunday morning if I can help it. I really had planned on doing this yesterday afternoon, but the nap really kind of threw me off. When I was finished with the nap, I just didn't feel like, I was just so tired. I just didn't feel like sitting down and doing the video. And you guys, you know, I feel like if I'm going to do the video, I want to have something interesting to talk about. So I gotta be, you know, I gotta have good energy for it. So today I have good energy. But so if I do the video, if not, and then I'll spend a while uploading and whatnot. But that's not a big deal. I just get my computer going and it does that. So then I'll probably throw, you know, there's laundry to be done and some different things. So those are things that I can, you know, the cleaning, my method of cleaning is always, you know, I'll stitch for a little bit, get up, go clean for 5 minutes. You know, that kind of thing. I cannot, I wish I could, but I cannot stitch. I cannot clean for like a 2-hour straight period unless I am ridiculously motivated. And that only happens a couple times a year. And look out when that happens. So I'll get some cleaning done while I'm watching. But thankfully I have the red zone. And for those of you guys who maybe aren't football fans or maybe are football fans and don't realize, the red zone is a way that I can sort of sneakily watch every game that is on without watching every game that is on. So the red zone basically guarantees that you watch every scoring play, and every time a team is in the red zone, the last 20 yards before a touchdown, you watch. You know, they'll switch to that game. But basically, they'll just constantly be switching from game to game to game, showing you big plays, letting you know what's going on. And for somebody like me who loves, you know, I just love to watch every single game, it's the perfect thing for me. It's so I stitch while I watch, and I watch all the early games, and then usually by the afternoon. The late games, for whatever reason, I'm not as interested in. I've never, it's like any team that plays in the like later afternoon, unless it's like the Broncos. I'll watch the Broncos play, but I don't necessarily watch everything. So sometimes like I might stop watching football as much, and I might watch YouTube videos or Twitch or something. And and then there's about an hour and a half usually between the time of the last game, after the late afternoon game, and when the evening game starts. So I take a break and maybe clean a little bit, do some stuff in the computer and whatnot, and then I sit down again and stitch and watch the night game. And and I don't always watch the night game. If it's not a very interesting matchup for me, if it's a team that I don't like, then sometimes I just don't watch it. But you know, that's just how it goes right now. So I watch a lot of football. I didn't watch any on Thursday. I actually was playing a video game, and we thought about having it on, but in the end what we did was we just listened, or we put some Simon Pegg movies on. We put on At World's End, and then we watched Shaun of the Dead, and those are fun just to listen to. And so we were having a good time with that. But I don't always watch every football game. Again, it depends. Like Thursday night, it was Baltimore and Cincinnati, and I don't find Cincinnati very compelling. I just never have, for whatever reason. And Baltimore, I don't like. I'm sorry, guys, if you're Ravens fans, I don't like them. And it goes back, I just don't like Flacco, the quarterback. And the reason why I don't like Flacco is just because I don't think he's very good. And in terms of like the amount of money he's been paid and what he has actually done. I know he won a Super Bowl, but the year he won a Super Bowl and went through the playoffs, it was all Anquan Bolden and I forgot the rest. I forgot the other receiver, Ray Rice and some other guys. He would just throw the ball up, or he would throw the ball to his, running back, and that guy would run 80 yards and score a touchdown. And you know, and Flacco got an inordinate amount of the credit that I didn't think that he deserved, and got a massive contract as a result. And, you know, good for him. Take advantage of it. Get your money. Get your money while you can. But I just don't think he's passable. No pun intended. I just don't think that he's necessarily like somebody who puts the team on his back and goes and wins the game. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get into football for a little bit. I've been a football fan since I was a little kid, and I'm talking like since I was old enough to watch on TV. Like, there are stories of, and a picture of me somewhere, of me in my crib, just barely able to stand up, and they would put me in front of a football game, and I would be content, and I could sit there for hours and just watch football. And that's been something I've done all my life, and I love it, and I enjoy it, and so I know a bit. But so there's a difference between a quarterback that can say, okay, I'm going to put the team on my back and I'm going to go win a game. Like, you know, there's like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, you know, those kinds of guys. And then there's guys that aren't going to necessarily do that, but they're also not going to lose. They're not going to be the reason why you lose a game. And that prime example is like Alex Smith. And why I say that is because Alex Smith likes to throw. You know, he's played his whole career pretty conservative. He's been quote unquote serviceable quarterback. He's been a good quarterback. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but he also didn't throw a lot of touchdowns until this last year when they asked him to, you know, pass a lot more, and his job was also a bit at stake. And he just came out and started whipping the ball downfield. And I'll be honest, if that was just a change in offensive style and that was what was asked of him and he was able to do it, then more power to him. But, uh-oh. Hold on. I think I did something wrong here. Ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, 1, 2, 3. Aha! Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Okay, I just missed. Okay, so I did a lot of this wrong because I missed up here. So, okay. Okay, everything is right except for like these. So, I think. Let me see if I can just pull these out, and that's all I need to do. Froggy, froggy, froggy. But anyway, I just have a different way of looking at, well, not a different way, but I have a way of looking at situations like the year that, aha, there we go, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, I'm usually decent enough at saying, like, if this quarterback's going to be good, this quarterback's not going to be good in the NFL when they come out of college. You can just, sometimes you can just tell. And I hate to say that, but I don't hate to say it. These guys make a lot of money while they're there, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, perfect. Put this one right here. All right, so I should have put that there. Like the year that, or last year? Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Kaiser, some other different guys and whatnot. The only one in the batch that I thought was a good one that should be drafted early was Deshaun Watson. And when Cleveland passed on Deshaun Watson and grabbed Deshaun Kaiser, I'm like, OMG. That is why they lose all the time. Because they don't understand talent evaluation. Kaiser is not a bad dude. He just came out a year too early. And when they come out too early, quarterbacks need reps, live reps, to be really good in college, I think. There's sort of a a fairly decent correlation between starts in the NFL, starts in college, especially at a good school, versus like if you the more starts you get, the better coming out. I mean, usually the better coming out of college you are, and the better NFL quarterback. It's not like you can't. It's not like you can like not get very many reps. I guess I think is Garoppolo the exception. I can't remember. I think he played. No, I'm sitting here trying to remember. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going off topic, but no, it's not. It's not him. It was that other guy. But the thing is that the more somebody starts in college, the better they adapt to the NFL, the better that they are able to do their thing. Hold on a second. I'm talking too much about football. Am I talking too much about football, guys? Because, I mean, I know for those of you who just don't care about football, you're like, oh my God, please change the subject. But anyway, I use a lot of, you know, that's why if you go back and look at some of the greater quarterbacks, the one exception is Brady, because Brady only got about 2 years. He fought back and forth when he was at Michigan. And I'm not a Brady fan. I mean, there's something about the guy that just, well, you know, I mean, he wins, yes. But winning by itself doesn't necessarily make me not like you, because, you know, my Bears have struggled for forever. But it's just kind of how you win and how you present yourself. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that for now. I was pretty devastated when my Bears lost on Monday night. They were up. And it's kind of like eye-opening and sad to see how they said, oh, this is the largest lead that the Bears have had on the Packers in 50 years. And it was only like 17 points. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, even back when we were at our prime, say in 85, which is sad to say that that was our prime, because I was 12, 13. But I think we're on the upswing, guys. Really feel like we're on the upswing. The team has a different feel to it. I have a different feel about it. I was proud to wear my jersey, and I cheered so hard. Oh my gosh. My husband was like, honey, you are not going to make it through the season if you do not, like, start settling down about this game. I was, like, up and down in my chair, jumping up and down, yelling, screaming. It got really nerve-wracking. I hopped on the exercise bike, and I was like, pedaling really hard. And then I'd get off, and I'd pace, and it feels good to care about something that much. You know, like, that's not, like, a person. I hadn't cared about the Bears like that in a while, because I have been so discouraged with just the way that the team has been run for so many years. Just so many bad coaching choices, so many bad quarterback choices. I hated Cutler there. I mean, I believed that I needed to support that guy, even though he was a bit lazy and very aloof and not what I wanted in my quarterback, but he was my quarterback, so I supported the guy until I just couldn't stand him anymore. But then when we got John Fox as the coach there, I pretty much didn't watch a game for 2 years while he was the coach of the Bears, because I can't stand him as a coach. The older he has gotten, the more conservative he is, which is why he definitely held the Broncos back. They probably should have won 2 Super Bowls. But he did not know how to prepare a team and for a big game. And he's like, let's see how conservative we can be. Let's just not throw interceptions, guys, okay? And it just, you know, anyway. But yeah, I'm highlighting. Sorry, I stopped talking. But anyway, so So, I mean, I tried watching in the beginning, and then just watching just how bad the team was. Oh my God, it was so hard. It was so hard to watch that I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go on a little sabbatical from the Bears until we actually do something right. And now we're doing things right, and I'm super excited again. And hockey preseason has started. Camps have opened up. And the Blues are going to be good this year. They're going to be really good. The only thing that's going to hold us back is our goalie play. So, Jake Allen, if you're watching, and if you are watching, stretch that back, buddy. Keep that back healthy. I got a great chiropractor that I can recommend you to. He'll fly in and take care of you. This is going to be a good sports year for me. It's going to be a competitive sports year all across the board. And I'm not used to that, people. I'm a Bears fan and I'm a Blues fan. And the one thing you can say about both is that, well, the Bears just haven't won hardly anything in forever. And the Blues win a fair bit, but they don't go very far in the playoffs, ever. And so, I don't know, not that long ago, they went into, look at that snag. I could almost see it coming right as I was starting to pull it. Snaggy, go. That didn't work. I'm surprised. But, anyway, it's a good sports year. You know what a good sports year, guys, means? A lot of good stitching. Because the more I sit in front of my TV, wow, ooh. It kind of got caught up in the whole, okay, I just got to see if I can pull this other piece through. There we go. Is that, wow, it went ahead and got itself all caught up there. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a little loose. That's okay. It'll tighten up. It's all good. But, so a lot of stitching. It's going to be Stitch-tober. It's Stitch-tember. And then Stitch-tober, and then Stitch-vember, Stitch-sember. Ooh, I like Stitch-sember. I like Stitch-sember. Neck's not been bad. A little stiff and sore today. Not bad though. Oh man, I just remembered. I should have grabbed one of these little coffee drinks. I'm not a coffee drinker, but at the store they have these like very, very low sugar coffee drinks that are really small. They're only like about maybe 200 milliliters, if that. It's probably less than that. It's probably like 100 or something. It's really small. And they're really low in calories. So low in sugar, low in calories. So it's like 90 calories for a can. And I can get down with that. And they're so heavily flavored that it tastes like coffee, but I can stand it. And if I can get about 4 or 5 swigs in on a Sunday when I'm starting to kind of get a little sleepy, like around usually around 2 o'clock is when the afternoon games, I'll start to get a bit sleepy and slow down a little bit with my stitching. I drink some of that stuff and it perks me right back up. I don't know. But alas, I forgot to grab it. So, it's okay. It's okay. Well, I'm going to do almost this whole entire stitch along with just one color, which is crazy. So I still want to get this filling in all over here, so it's nutty. Drinky, drinky. Must drinky, drinky. I was watching some crazy videos yesterday on YouTube. I love how my YouTube is like, hey, crazy person, you might like this crazy video. And I'm like, oh yeah, me like. One of them was a video series on this guy. His name is Parker Stinson. And he is a burgeoning marathoner or distance runner. Let's say distance runner. And this guy is fast. And he currently lives right up here in Boulder and trains here. And he is only 24. He was a decorated, high school and college athlete, runner and whatnot. But he's been working on his marathoning. And his first marathon, he was running at a 2:09 pace for the first 20 miles. And then he kind of bonked a little bit. I think it's because he missed his water bottle at mile 20 is what they said. And it was his very first marathon, so he probably also went out a little too hot. He was apparently way in front of everybody. And this was like, I think in November or December. So he learned a lot from it. His next marathon is in Chicago in October. And I'm going to really keep an eye out on this guy because he is like, we don't have a history of having great marathoners in this country. And it would be neat to see one just pop up. I love sports where it is like endurance and it's all about like building an engine, building your engine, getting you going. And just it's all about putting the time in and the work, and I think that's just awesome. I hear the husband playing some Pat Benatar downstairs. That We Belong. I love that song. It's a great song. But boy, the dogs are just really barky today. And it's not our dogs. All of our dogs are inside. Everybody just all blah, 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 talking to each other. So Zuzu's little stuffed toy that she had, I'm going to go way up here. This will be a little easier for me to see what's going on. That she got at the little fun fest last week. She finally tore it up yesterday. It made it a full week, which we were super impressed about because she just never, she's always ripping everything up. So maybe it's a sign of her maturity, possibly. Hard to say. Hard to say. But she had that. I hope that Jelly can handle my Bears game watching tomorrow night. She was kind of freaked out when I was up and running and jumping and doing things during the game on last Sunday night. She's like, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm like, nothing's wrong other than Aaron Rodgers came back in the game, which I knew he would. My brother and I text about football a lot, and he's back on the East Coast, and actually, I know I don't talk about him very often because he doesn't really come up when I'm talking about stitching, as you can imagine. But he's a couple years older than me, and he's as big or bigger sports fan than I am. And so I was texting him last week, and we were texting during the game, and he was like, wow, Bears look great, blah, blah, blah. They're going to win this game. I'm going to bed. And I'm like, dude, you go to bed? I'm like, you watch. Aaron Rodgers is going to come back in the second half, and he's going to win this game. And he goes to bed, and it, like, immediately after he goes to bed, Aaron Rodgers comes out, and they go back, and they win the game. And the next morning, I texted him. I'm like, dude, it's all your fault the Bears lost last night. And he was like, he goes, holy cow, they did lose, didn't they? And I was like, yes. And so he was laughing. He thought that was funny. And like, well, it took me like 72 hours to get over that loss, because I was just sad that they lost, because I'm like, oh, come on, guys, let's turn this around. Let's play good like other teams play good. I know you guys can play good. Anyway, my husband finds me highly entertaining at times because of things like that. All in jest. It's all good. All right, making progress. Still in the same color, people. Still on the same exact color, which is crazy. But look how much we're filling in. And then I'll be able to get a a few more colors and fill in even more. And it'll be awesome. So I hope everybody's okay, and if any of you guys are in North Carolina, I hope you're okay. Holy cow, that hurricane, now tropical depression, is just ridiculous with the amount of water and the amount of flooding. And I actually, a couple years ago, I was on Wrightsville Beach. Is it Wrightsville? I think it's Wrightsville. It's where it came. It's like where the center of the eye of the storm came across. I can't even imagine like how different everything looks there now. But I mean, I went there. I was visiting some friends in Fayetteville, and we drove out. And they no longer live in Fayetteville, so they're okay. But we drove out to see the ocean because I hadn't seen the Atlantic Ocean in many years. And so we went out and spent a day at the ocean, which was fun. And wow, everybody is barky today. It won't matter in a couple hours. I'll have the game so loud that nobody in the neighborhood will be able to hear anything besides me watching the game. And no, I'm kidding. Not really kidding, but sort of kidding. But anyway, it was beautiful. I mean, you know, there's all these houses that were right along the beachfront, and you know, town. I mean, everything is just like at or below sea level. And you say, well, how can something be below sea level? Well, it's very easy. I mean, it's just a lot of that land on that East Coast is not. It's not like it's bedrock or anything. It shifts, it moves, it can sink a little bit. And when I was in Virginia Beach once. I was part of my interview tour when I got out of school. I actually interviewed in Virginia Beach and checked that area out, which was just, I'd never been there before. So I was at oh goodness, look at I pulled that through. Where did I pull that through? Right there. Ooh. Am I going to be able to find that? And, that's not bad. Okay, you get out of there. I'm done with you. Let me just go ahead and stitch this and then see what I'm left with. And it had rained for like 2 days, and just the normal rain, basically there was flooding everywhere because, I mean, where is the water going to go if you're right at sea level, right next to the ocean? And I just remember thinking, man, I mean, just, this got to be a constant issue in this location. And so it's the same thing for a place like Wilmington. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, and then I don't think I'm going to be able to find this. I might, but I might not find this on this side. I don't think I will without doing some damage, so I'm just going to cut the little yappy dog next door. I swear to God, I don't think these people are either home or they're deaf. They may be deaf, and that's fine if they're deaf. But the dogs bark all the time. Someday, hopefully, they'll move out. They're renting. They don't own the place, so I would like for them to move. It'll be a lot easier when they do, as long as the next people that move in don't have barky dogs. And I know you're like, hey, dude, you got a lot of barky dogs. And it's true. I got a lot of dogs, and they do bark sometimes. But there's a golden retriever that's on the other side, and he barks on occasion. But they don't bark at the fence at each other like my dogs do with this dog on the other side. And it's something about that dog. But anyway. So anyway, the flooding. So here's the crazy thing. So it's taken a left turn. It now did not affect too much my friends, my family and whatnot in Georgia. I went away from them. But it is now centered and going right up through where my uncle lives in North Carolina. My uncle and aunt that were out here this summer. And right through the little town of Brevard, which is western North Carolina. And I actually used to live there for about 1.5 years right out of school. It was my first job out of school. And so it's going right through there. Now, there are a lot of little creeks and rivers, but there are also a lot of hills and kind of, you know, the Blue Ridge Mountains are right there. But it's just a lot of rain, man. I mean, you know, I wish that in times like this that we could like shunt rain from one area, you know, like one area is getting completely dumped on. Well, how could we like set up some sort of transport or some sort of piping system that we could pipe all that over to California? Or even here, we need the water here too. And I know it's not feasible and I know it's never going to happen, but it's just, that's the kind of crazy things that I think about. So, I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, come down here and stitch the exact same thing. Let's stretch and pop my neck here real quick. It's starting to get a little tight sitting here, so we're getting close to the end here of this little video, but not quite. I gotta finish this color first. Anyway, it's just crazy. It is just crazy. It's just nutty how, like, the, you know, these storms come off the west coast of Africa and make their way across the Atlantic Ocean, and what they do. It's just, you know, being able to kind of see those things develop, watch them as they come across, know that they're going to come and cause problems, you know, seeing them come this way, it's just amazing to watch, you know, weather-wise. In some ways, I wish I understood a bit more about weather, but that's another subject that I just don't have time. I don't have time to learn about it. There we go. So this, see this line right here, is actually the end of the page. It's not actually the other side, because you may notice, I'm like, well, why does that look like smaller than these? Well, it's because this is the end of the actual page and not the properly 10 by 10 gridded block. So that's how so when I go to do, you know, like say when I go to do this page, I'll have wherever the line, I think this is like 8 across, I'll have like a vertical line drawn through the end of the grid, so that I make sure that I continue to grid properly. But anyway, that's just how I do it. Sometimes I do things weird. Very, very weird. I know there was another video, several videos I watched yesterday which I found were very interesting, but I just don't remember what they are now. Boobity-boobity-boo, boobity-boobity-boo. Boobity-boobity-boobity-boo. Boobity-boobity-boo. Okay. Almost there. Yikes. There we go. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Alright, that's not bad. Let me highlight some more. Baby-baby-doo. Baby-baby-doo. go. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. I get to put this back on here. I got a lot done on, I got a lot done on Radio Water Replace too. That was the other thing that I got done. So I was kind of happy about that. Let me see. Where's my color chart here? I haven't shown you my color chart for this in a while. Look how many colors. There's so many colors. So many colors. But that's what makes a beautiful project. So we happy. Yeah, I think I'm going to finish the video here, guys, because if I start a new color, I'd rather start a new color downstairs where I'm a little bit more comfortable. So, thank you so much for joining me. It's always fun to just sit here and talk to you guys, because sometimes I just sit and talk to myself while I'm stitching, and that's just not healthy. So, it's good to talk to you guys. I'm going to have a good weekly update video this week. Going to show a lot of good progress. I'm contemplating, like I said, if I can find the right, if I have the silk, or if I just decide to start with DMC, I might be able to get started on Charity for All. We'll see. I know I said I wasn't going to start anything, but you know what? You can't believe anything I say. I change my mind like every other day on what I plan on doing. So it just, as long as I'm doing stitches all the time, then we're doing well. So, so yeah, just keep on stitching. Oh, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the fall. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Cool. Thanks.